Hi, so in this video we will learn how we can create an Azure pipeline using the AWS for a Python application. So now let's get started. So first and foremost thing, we will require a Docker registry, repository and AWS cluster, and we will create an application using the Python PyCharm, and then we'll require a DevOps Azure pipeline. So let's first of all go log in into AWS, search for the EKS, that is Elastic Kubernetes Service, and let's create a cluster. So EKS 00, or you can say EKS Python, whatever name you can give. Let's go to the very default one. I'll remove this some of the things. Subnets, I'll keep it only 3.1 and click on the next, click on the next, click on the next, and go with the default and create the cluster. So this may take little while. So meanwhile what we'll do, we'll create an Azure project. So I'll say that Python 04 and create it. Okay. So meanwhile we also go to the Docker Hub and we'll create a repository. So I'll just give a name Python 04 and create it. And then we'll create a Python project. I'll give it a name again 04. This is a simple Flask project, nothing fancy. We'll just like an hello world, because we are more interested in a understanding of the Kubernetes service. Okay, so what I will do is I'll create a Flask. So this endpoint, and this is simple endpoint, hello endpoint, and it will return some text, and it will run on the port 80. So we are facing some library issue. So what we will go to the file and click on the settings, click on the project and click on the interpreter and add Flask. Install the package. So click OK. So let's try to run it. Just click on this and we'll get our endpoint. Oh, I'm sorry, this is typo. Okay, so it look like working. Now we will require requirement.txt because we will use a Docker file over here. So I'll just keep at a Flask 2.2.0 and I'll paste a Docker file so we can easily push into the Docker image using the Docker file. A simple Docker file, base image, basic some necessary steps for creating the applications, run pip install requirement.txt for necessary libraries to be downloaded, and then entry point and expose the port to an 80. We'll also require a chart folder for a ham chart. So this is nothing but a ham chart folder. It has a value and we'll change it to 4. This is a repository URL and that is an image URL. So Docker, and then our username, and then a full repository URL. Okay. So rest of the things is it is a template deployment, service and ingress. They are just templates and with the placeholders which will be replaced by the values in the chart files. Okay, so that look like perfect. So now go to the AWS. So our cluster has been created, and go to the compute. We'll have to the node group. In fact, the node group is also there. But let's use the new cluster that we have created so that we can create a fresh new node group. EKS Python ng and so select the role. So either way, whether you can use the existing cluster, but for the phrase application, I'm just using the new one which I have created for this application. Click on the next, next, and create the node group. This may also take a time. The status is creating. So again, go back to our dev repo. Click on the Python 04 that we have recently created and just copy this so that we can sync our newly created Python project. First, initialize the Git repository and paste this URL so that we can sync it. Git add all, git commit, first commit, for new repo, and just push it. Copy it. So now our application is there in the repo. Just click, check it. Okay, so everything is there. Chart are there. Docker file is there. Main file requirement text is also there. Okay. So now let's create a new pipeline and simple starter pipeline. So first step, we will create our own step. So we require two steps. One is for Docker and another is for Kubernetes. One is for CI, another is for CD. So we have Docker con and our application is Python 04, our repository, and our release name would be a Python 04. Here instead of the Linux con, we have EKS. That's an Elastic Kubernetes Service. Okay, I'll just simply save it and go to the. So first of all, before we run the pipeline, okay, I'll need to edit it because I just triggered it, so unnecessary it got triggered. I'll save it. Okay, so now go to the project settings. We require two service connection. One is for Docker, another is for Kubernetes. So click on the Docker registry, click on the next, and click on the Docker Hub. Just use your Docker ID and your password. Verify. Verification successful. Give the name and grant access. Verify and save. Okay. So we'll create another service connection and that will be Kubernetes, select, and we'll select the service account. So now how can we create a service account? So first of all, we'll have to get the Kubernetes config file from the AWS, and then we'll start on that. So first of all, let's check whether our node group has created or not. So it is created. So now go to the command prompt and AWS EKS this command region and update kubeconfig and try. Added the new context. So now it is there. So we have an SA file that is a service account YAML. So this is a service account YAML file which has a service account, and then it has a secret, and then it has a role. So secret is for the service account it has connected with. So all the kind of road which we will give to this service account so that it can easily work with Azure Kubernetes service, and we have a role binding. So let's go to the command prompt, kubectl apply civil. So service account has been created. So now if we go back to our, we will require an server URL. So we have copy and just run this command and we get server URL. Just copy and paste over there. And for the secret, just copy this command, and in fact for everything Azure will help you. And here our service account secret name. So this is our secret. So just copy the all JSON and paste into the configuration secret dialog. Now EKS connection. So now if we go to the pipeline in the repo, EKS connection. Okay, so looks everything good. We are good to run the pipeline. So let's go to the pipeline and run the pipeline. So this may take a time. So let's see. So our pipeline got started and we will wait for some time. And I'll pause the video until the pipeline is getting finished. So our pipeline got success. So go to the command line and check and list. So application is status is deployed. Check the pods. It is in the running status. Check the deploy and kubectl check SVC. Okay. So now our external IP is also there. What I will do is I will go to the pipeline and just copy this portion and go to the git and just paste it. So this is the URL. I'll try, you can omit the 80 port because it's the default port, and go to the browser and slash hello and try. Yes, uh, we got the message for the endpoint. So this is this, we have successfully deployed using the Azure pipeline, Docker registry and deployment into the AWS Kubernetes service. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.